With Embiid's devastating injury sidelining him for the foreseeable future and being the dominant lead for league MVP, there is a toss-up about who the next winner of the award is. The previous ladder included Embiid at 1, Jokic at 2, and Shea at 3, which was then followed by Giannis, Luka, Kawhi, Brunson, and Tatum. There has been a wide debate about the 65-game rule, where a player must play at least 65 games in a season, which is roughly 80% of their games, to be eligible for any postseason awards, including MVP and All-NBA. This was enforced by the league leading up to a new TV rights deal, which aims to tackle the issue of load management and players sitting out games despite being perfectly healthy. However, this has seemed to backfire on the players, with arguably the best player this season not being able to win MVP or All-NBA, despite being legitimately injured with a meniscus tear. Another recent example of the rule damage occurred with Tyrese Haliburton, who sustained a hamstring strain, expecting to be out for multiple weeks. However, if he doesn't make the minimum games requirement, he would not make the All-NBA team, and could lose out on $41 million from his contract with the Pacers he signed last year. So what did he do? He rushed back extremely early despite his hamstring and continued to play on limited minutes. This could have been dangerous, as playing on that injury could cause more tension and lead to a bigger injury in the future. People developed a controversy about the rule, as it isn't always a person's fault that they sustain an injury, and they shouldn't be punished by not receiving what they deserve. Is it the league's fault? Should they have left the rule alone? The early days of load management could be traced down to Greg Popovich and the Spurs, who popularized sitting out and resting star players throughout the season despite them being perfectly healthy. This came during an era when you would have to play any game when you were healthy, even if you weren't feeling 100%, and the Spurs were looked down upon. This really annoyed the league office, as players sat out so many games and national TV games consisted of bench players while Tim, Manu, or Parker sat out. This infuriated David Stern, who had a vendetta against Popovich not allowing him to coach at the 2012 Olympics, which harmed the reputation of the league. However, the Spurs were winning games and won multiple titles when resting players throughout the season, winning their final chip in 2014. Kawhi further popularized it, where he would take time off during the year, but come during the playoffs and dominate. This inspired other teams to start resting their star players, believing that it would prevent injury and keep them ready until postseason, until they discovered that it has no link to injury. With players like Tyrese letting out their verbal frustration at the rule and fans of the game criticizing it, should the league remove it, or should it stay?